texture node to create the texture. So what I'm going to do is to I think I'm going to get another view here. So yeah, and of course you can change the content of the view. So I think it's here, and what I'm going to do is to change that to shader editor. So we get all sort of a node that I can play around with, and I don't think I need this one for now, just to make it bigger. Okay, so we get the basic principle BSDF shader, and then I'm going to add a little bit more texture. I think let's go to this texture here, and let's just choose this part and create a new texture. This for now is just a sort of empty material, and let's create one more, and that will be material. I don't know, this would be leather, something like that, or just a couch material, because I haven't decided which material we'll be using yet. So couch material. Okay, couch material. Let's just choose that, and then before we actually do that, we need to UV unwrap in order to actually apply that to the couch. So I think we need to go to the edit mode for this. So go to edit mode, A to select everything, and I'm going to unwrap it, U, and smart UV project. So I think the defaults will be good. So let's just OK it, and then let's talk about the texture. Okay, so let's add this something here. We got a couch material, and Shift and A to add a texture. So let's give it a image texture. So image texture right here. So I think let me just put it here because I'm going to connect this node. So the image texture, we need to add that image here. So you can just choose whatever you have been downloaded. Let me just use the example. So as you guys can see, I already select a texture. You can get whatever texture you want, but for now let's just use this as an example, and we can change maybe depending on the results. I haven't tried that yet, so yeah, I don't know the result, so let's just try as we go. So the color will be the base color, and yeah, so right now is and remember, don't forget, you need to go to the left side. You need to get, sometimes it's hidden. Okay, so this is solid mode. You need to go back here, display material preview mode. You don't need to render that for now, just a material preview, because that will be much quicker for you to see that in the viewport. So that's just connecting the dots. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely too big, the texture, because yeah, it's a little bit big. So yeah, so I'm going to make it scale smaller. So let's scale it down. You choose this image texture, you use Ctrl T, and you can see this mapping as well as the texture coordinate. So if you can't call that out, you need to enable a add-on called Node Wrangler. You go to this edit, you go to this preference, and you click this add-on and you search Node Wrangler. It should be a default, and you need to check that in order to enable that. Okay, and then you can adjust that in the node. And if you look at here, we got a scale, right? The scale X, Y, Z, we can adjust that. I think let's just try a bigger number. So let's yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe Let me just move it a little closer. Let me just use 8 for now, just to make sure. Yeah, I think this looks pretty decent. Maybe 6. Yeah, I think 6 looks pretty good. Okay. And of course you can use bigger number, for example 3, or yeah, I think 3 is pretty interesting effect. That's all depends on you, to be honest. So if you want a 5, you can get a 5, and it will give you a different results. But remember, as long as you apply that, and this couch material will have the same uniform effect if you apply the material to any other object. Okay, so you just need to choose that material, the couch material, and it will have the same scale. Okay, so just do be careful about the scale selection, because it will have a uniform scale. And I haven't unwrapped that yet, so let's just delete that, and let's unwrap it first. Okay, so you unwrap. Okay, so we got the edge thing maybe to be added. Yeah, so yeah, I forgot. I need to use this smart UV project. Okay, and that will yeah, get the work done. So you can always select everything, smart UV project. Okay, and of course we got this I think we got this area as well, so we can unwrap that smart UV project, and we also got this leg area as well, so smart UV project. Okay, so you can then use material with these. So let's just use the couch material. We got this couch material as well, so we get a pretty nice couch material, and we got wooden area later. But for now, let's still wrangling around with play around with this texture, because we haven't finished the texture yet. But I'm just trying to apply to the couch, so you can have a better idea of what is going on. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to change the color. This color is a little bit weird. It's like a purplish color. So yeah, I'm going to change that. So you can add a adjustment from the image texture to this basic color here. So it's sort of a adjustment node. You can use Shift and A to add a color here in saturation. Let me just place it in between. Okay, so we got a color from here to here, and color output to base color. Here in saturation, yeah, I think in saturation you can put it down or put it up. It all depends on you. Okay, so you can put it up, we get a pinkish color, purplish color, then maybe a green color, something like that. And the value, you can get it down, so you can get a pretty darkish color. I think that's pretty good. Just to leave it a little bit. This give you a sort of high-end feeling, because it's black and it's like a pretty high-end material that you got from a store. But I think maybe it's still too big. Let me just make the scale down by make it 8, something like that. Yeah, fine-tuning this. And the value, let's change that. If you got too wide, it will not look like a ladder, so just make it down like this. And saturation, I think I need to get it up a little bit. Hue, you can change that to different hue. I think the saturation, if you got too high, it's a little bit weird. Of course, you can add a lot of nodes in between. So for example, you can add brightness, contrast, curve. You can even add that. Let me add it brightness, contrast in between. You can make it bright, you can make it dark. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit dark. Contrast. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Looks like it weird looking couch. Maybe just to delete this node. I think because the basic color of this couch is a little bit weird, so it become pretty hard for you to adjust that. Maybe just to stick to the center of it, and this maybe just to give it 1 and value. Let's not give it too much, maybe darker. Okay, yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, just to stick with the dark color one. And for now, I think this is a little bit flat, so I'm going to make it a little bit bumpy and down. So yeah, you can treat it as a texture version of displacement when you add a cloud, something like that. So yeah, the cloud is just previous. I add a little bumpiness and it down. Okay, so I think I need to add a normal map for that, so make it much more 3D. Okay, so let's add a node, Shift and A, and give it a texture. Let's just use the image texture, and let's just place it here, because ultimately I'm going to plug that into the normal map. So you can open any normal map that you find. And of course, I'm using the normal map as the textures.com. So yeah, I used that one. And then I'm going to add a node of normal map in order to do that. So Shift and A to add a normal map. So let me try to find it. So vector normal map. Okay, so we got a node of normal map, and you can got the color here, and you output the normal. So then you can just insert the normal here. So you can see we got a little bit bumpiness here and there. Looks pretty good. But I think the scale is a little bit different. Normal map got a pretty huge scale. So remember, the input is a vector. So I use this mapping control and control the vector here. So I can just use the vector and control the vector here. So I get a same scale. And after you calculate that, yeah, get the same normal map. Okay, so yeah, I think it looks pretty interesting. Let me just use the render view. Whoa, that's pretty glossy looking couch. The fabric looks pretty good. Leather fabric, yeah, glossy looking couch. But definitely we don't want this glossy. We want the sort of have a little bit of roughness, but we will change that later. And let's just use the render view because I think this looks pretty good. And let's give it a little bit of space for my node. So yeah, and yeah, here we got a color space of sRGB, and that shouldn't be the case because this is just a normal map. So I can choose non-color, so it won't take into account of the color. So yeah, it's just a normal map, and that looks much better. So you can see the leather here, and yeah, that looks much better, not so glossy. Yeah, this looks pretty good, but I still think the this may be too fine-tuned, too small. So maybe just 5 or 6, maybe 6. Let me try 6, just make it a little bit bigger. So give it a little bit of roughness of this leather material. Okay, let's go to this material preview because I want to see that clearly without the interference of the light. Okay. So let's play around with the nodes because this is just a find the sweet spot process. So for example, the normal map will control the roughness, and I think it's not rough enough. So yeah, I'm going to drag that to pretty rough, right? You can drag something like this, and this is pretty rough, and you can drag it down, it will become pretty glossy. I think you need to find a sweet spot for that. So maybe something like this. The default is 1, okay? So what about I change that to 5? That's definitely too much. Maybe 3, or maybe 2. Okay, so just find a sweet spot for that. And let me go to the render view. Maybe too much. 1.5. 1.2 maybe. Maybe 1.5. 0.8. Yeah, I think 0.8. Yeah, you can fine-tune that according to you. And yeah, I think the normal map is not good enough, so maybe I'm going to give it a try of a leathered normal map. Yeah, so I think the normal map may not be good enough, so I'm going to make my own normal map. I think maybe find time in next video I'm going to show you guys how to do that in Photoshop. For now, let's just use this random normal map to find it on the internet. Okay, so sometimes you just got the texture without the normal map, and that's fine because we can always do that using the algorithm and maybe the tool that is provided by Photoshop or even in Blender. For now, let's just stick with this and play around with the node. And I think as a final part, principal BSDF, let me change this roughness. So it's pretty rough. Let me just go closer. So let's see if we got a pretty rough, something like this, pretty smooth. Ooh, smooth. Rough. You don't want too rough because use the leather. It's supposed to be a little bit soft, so maybe something like this. And I think I'm going to using a different for the texture, different vector for that. So maybe just delete this and just duplicate here, okay, and use the different vector for this normal map, and I'm going to make it bigger by using maybe 15. This is just a way of changing that without actually using a new texture, because I'm trying to achieve the functionality of it without actually changing the